if I fight early summer, or like right before the summer, I get the whole fucking summer off. Last year I was going to like beer parties. I was on the boat
there's
every day.
malevolent goals
Always
to this
strategy.
one.
Always
Right,
a strategy.
Fight about it.
Fight.
Want to fight about it?
Do you want to fight about it? What do you say, Steven? You want to fight about it? You want to fight about who the featherweight champion of the BKFC is? Do you?
I don't think we need to fight about it. We already know he is, and he's about to be hopping in here in a minute. Obviously, we got to catch him after practice. Sharpen his tools up, getting ready for whoever the next potential opponent is. And I guess that's going to be one of the things that we're gonna find out is who Mr. Stewart wants to put them knuckles on next.
I know who he wants to put the knuckles on. It's going to be a matter of who he gets to put the knuckles on, and that's what I'm interested in. I want to know what he's hearing about that. Let's without further ado, let's bring in the featherweight champion for BKFC, Mr. Kai King Stewart. What's going on, brother?
What's up, guys? Just got done with practice. I'm actually training for a wrestling tournament. We're going to strap the wrestling shoes back up and go try to win an open tournament.
You are relatively new to the scene, to BKFC, not too much martial arts. You've been doing this for a long time. But what people don't really know or may not know about you is you are a wrestler at heart. You wrestled in high school. Like, wrestling is what you always wanted to do. You wanted to be a wrestling Olympian. You found a home in MMA. You found a home in BKFC, and it's resulted in a belt. But wrestling is in your heart. So what we're going to do this episode of Wanna Fight is we're going to get to know Kai Stewart. People want to know about the champ. You watch the pre-fight stuff. You were the underdog going into this championship fight. You embrace it. You love it. You love coming out on top. We're going to talk about some of that interview stuff. Let's start with the wrestling thing. You got a wrestling thing coming up. Wrestling is your heart.
Yeah.
Talk to us, Kai.
Yeah, I've wrestled since I was 5 years old, and the only reason I'm a BKFC world champion is because I'm a wrestler. And I think that any wrestler that put their heart and soul into the sport of bare knuckle boxing, I do think that we're the toughest breed of human beings, us wrestlers. So shout out to any other wrestlers in BKFC paving a way, but I paved the biggest way getting my belt. So shout out to wrestling. So this tournament I'm doing is the Montana Open. I heard that some big names we're going to enter. There's 4-timer Matt Weber, 4-timer Clayton Courier, I believe 2-timer Cameron Neese. So there's 4 of us, and myself, a state champion, 3-time finalist. Hopefully they set the bracket up correct where we have a nice semifinals round and then have an even better finals match. But I felt like I went to MMA too quickly. I was still a college wrestler. I think I have 3 years of eligibility left just through injury, COVID, transfer, everything. I've never wrestled in college, and it's just what I want to do. I trained in college, but I didn't wrestle. I didn't get to compete. So this opportunity came about, and I was like, you know what? Let's go. We're doing it. We're going to go get this hopefully Montana title. I've won it twice before as a high schooler. So hopefully this open division we can get in there and scrap. So we'll see. There, once I take these guys down, because I will be taking them down, I got to maybe show just a couple. Just so they know that I could if I wanted to.
Just a little reminder. Just a little. We talked to a lot of fighters that were heavy MMA professionals before they came to BKFC. They talk about how it transfers because there is boxing and MMA. How do you feel wrestling has improved your BKFC game?
First and foremost, the mental toughness, the mental mindset. I'll just put it into perspective. I can't play a video game. I can't play a board game without being extremely competitive. And it goes back to my coaches saying, win the practice. A lot of times they say, you hear coaches say, it doesn't matter what happens in the practice room. But in wrestling, it's like, break your partner, break them. Like if you break them, you win, right? So win the practice. So we learned that at a young age. I believe that the first time I had my first grind wrestling practice, I probably was 9 years old. And that was the start of what we now know is something great. I can go on wrestling, mindset of it and why, we were tortured as kids, but looking back and now that I'm a BKFC world champion with a tough mindset, it makes me really, really happy and grateful. Back then I was like, what the fuck does this guy think? Like, who is this guy telling me to do all this bullshit? But now I'm very grateful for it. But going back to the question, how does it help me in bare knuckle? So so first, it's mindset. First and foremost, there's nothing better than a wrestling mindset. Secondly, I would like to say the clinch. Boxers don't know the clinch. Now, Trout was looking good. However, I think Palomino could have done a little bit better with his entries and really trying to activate that clinch. However, Howard had the first time I put my hands on Howard, I knew I was going to win the fight. I was like, wow, put your hands on this guy. He has absolutely no idea what I'm doing with the, pulling, getting your head pulled down. As a wrestler, we're just here. I don't have a neck because of wrestling. So if anybody else tries to clinch me who hasn't wrestled and hasn't spent years doing it, they're not pulling my head down. Fuck you. But yeah, wrestling's definitely it's the best base in MMA, and I'm starting to prove that it's the best base in bare knuckle. So,
I mean, you got the belt. You can't. What else is there to say? I mean, you really don't have to say anything. Just right there, that's that's how it works. Now you want Dat. Everybody knows this. You're very vocal about it. You want that. You're a little worried it's not going to happen. He's getting older. He's got other things going on. He's trying to do other things. So what are you hearing anything? And if so, what, being inside the BKFC world of who might
I want to preface this with, I have not had an official offer. I have not heard really anything from the actual bare knuckle people.
All rumors at this point.
All rumors. Now my next in line to Dat is Jimmy Rivera. So there for a while we were all homegrown. We don't have any UFC guys. We fought for the first featherweight title. We had to clean the division out a little bit, and I feel like we did that. I mean, yeah, I know that now we have Brian Duran, who finally fought a ranked fighter, so he's just now coming in. We have Brandon Allen, who's kind of been around, but he entered the rankings not terribly long ago. So for one, they need to find out who a true number one contender is. We have UFC Jimmy Rivera sitting over here, who's getting older. He's not going to have very many fights left. I want my legacy fight because he's mixed it up with the absolute best in the UFC. Aljamain Sterling, Peter Yan, Uriah Faber. I think there's even more names that I'm missing. His resume is crazy in the UFC. And so I want to fight him. Let me put his lights out. Let me show that, hey, I'm a homegrown BKFC fighter, and I'm here to stay. And then after Jimmy Rivera, hopefully Brian Duran and Brandon Allen fight. Both those fights I think could be fun. And I think it'll be a fun buildup. But I think for the division, let me fight Rivera. Let me have my little legacy fight. Figure yourself out, and then I'll fight one of those two.
I like the blueprint.
Yeah, right.
I mean, I'm partial to
but it's
Jimmy.
Not up to you.
I've interviewed Jimmy. I'm one of the giveaways we're gonna do over the summer. I have some signed and graded stuff from him that I sent to him last year. Nice. So it's like I got mad love, mad respect for him. You could even hear when Kai speaking of him, he knows that Jimmy is one of the more durable, toughest dudes around here. His record may not be the greatest in BKFC, but it has the name value, and we already know what the name value means when it comes to that brand. Obviously, with Platinum Mike Perry getting top billing with not even really being
having the belt
champion. Obviously,
yeah.
we're gonna have something to air in a few days with Dave Mundell, and he's gonna have something to say about that as well, as per usual. But it's one of these things, man. Like that where you're still with a relatively young sport building. Let Kai have this fun fight. Go figure out who your number one contender is at any point in time over the next 2 to 3 months. Let's see what happens at the end of the year.
We might be able to get some inside info for Kai when we
right.
have Dave on. We'll work him, Kai.
Yeah. So I also heard from obviously it's definitely a rumor because it didn't come from anybody tied to BKFC. It actually came from a podcaster, but he heard rumors that they're going to make Brandon Allen do one more fight, which, I mean, I hope that's the Brian Duran fight. It's the fight to make. There's a lot of fans invested in that beef. So
I mean, it also makes sense, right? I mean,
it makes sense
getting one of those guys.
It makes sense for the division too, because Brandon Allen was in the position to be the number one contender until Brian fought Louis and beat him. That brought Brian into the picture since Louis just fought for the belt. So now there's two decent contenders that need to fight each other, figure it out, and let me fight little Jim. But I do hope it's Jimmy. I hope it's in May, early May. We're just waiting, and Jimmy's been tagging me and stuff saying, hey, my contract's going to be here this week. And I'm like, I haven't heard one thing yet, so I doubt it. But I would love it. I would love it. And honestly, Jeremy Stevens can be right after Jimmy Rivera, too. I did a little digging, and he fought at 146 or 147 against Jose Aldo. So if he wants to come dance, he can dance, too. So just leaving it out there.
Throw it down. That's what I'm talking about. I love it. Guy ain't afraid of nobody. Tell us about Hefty Bag, because I know you're like got the king thing going on. You are the king. You got the crown right now, but I mean, the roots Hefty Bag. The roots Hefty Bag. You don't lose it. Yeah.
So I was in. I was getting ready for my debut fight. Getting ready, meaning I accepted the fight. Somebody pulled out for this like 3 or 4-0 amateur that was like 34, 35 years old. I was 18 years old at the time. And I went into the gym, and the coach who met me that day, one of the assistant coaches down there was my high school wrestling coach, which pitched me the fight. He heard somebody pulled out and was like, hey, Kai, you just lost your state title. I know you got some like bullshit going on in your head. Do you want to fight? And I was like, yeah, fuck it. Let's go. So I walked to the gym. He goes, oh, you're fighting that guy and you're cool with it? And that's where he goes, damn, you must got Hefty Bag or something. So that's where that nickname comes from. So, and it's so funny whenever the whole crowd starts chanting Hefty or Hefty Bag. Oh, it's fucking great. I love it.
That's awesome. You mentioned video games. You play them. What are you playing?
Playing Apex right now. I'm dabbling in Helldivers a little bit. It's a new game. I'm not crazy in love with it, but I have friends that play it, and I'm a social gamer. If my friends aren't on, I probably won't game much. But Apex Legends is definitely the game that I spend way too many hours on.
So people will know by the title and stuff like that, but you got to make it official. Xbox or PlayStation?
PC.
There it is.
See, I knew what he was talking about.
I knew what he was talking about too, but not everybody does.
He's talking about a freaking PC game.
Yeah. So I actually took the leap. So I had a shitty PC, just a hand-me-down PC. It barely ran my games, but I hit top 4% in Apex, which is Diamond. And then it busted, and like I don't got money, so I just waited. So after this last fight, I finally just said, "Fuck it!" I bought myself a new PC, and now we're back, baby.
What's your favorite PC game outside of that?
Probably Bloons Tower Defense 2. My kids love that damn shit.
It's the battle.
They just sit there and play forever.
Yeah, because it's competitive. You go head to head versus somebody. Yeah. So it's like, oh, I take it home. I don't care if I'm yelling at a 12-year-old. Like, there's no voice chat. There's no voice chat. No. I'm just sitting in here. I'm gonna get you, you fucker. Like, I just sending balloon, just being a dick. But
that's why there's no voice chat. That's exactly why.
Right. But yeah, probably Balloons. I will be I hope that I fight right before the release date of Grand Theft Auto 6. Oh fuck.
There you go.
Oh,
Give
fuck.
them a call. Give
My
them a call.
girlfriend's gonna have
Next
to have
sponsor.
a conversation with me. Fucking, she's gonna be like, "Listen, you have a problem," but I'm excited for Grand Theft Auto 6.
Most of us that grew up with PlayStation lost many months and days on
Yeah.
Grand Theft Auto, regardless
That's
of what version it
Fair
is.
statement. Do you even have a cheat food? Like you're featherweight. Like no offense, but
What,
like,
dude?
you're one of these
Does he have a
guys-
cheat food? What was he
Well,
just
no, I'm
doing?
saying, like, no, look, bro. Like he can eat probably pretty much any damn thing he wants, any damn time he wants to. It's just a matter if he wants to, right? Like he's not.
I will
he's not
say
like
that I'm
me.
pretty heavy. I cut a lot of weight, so I do. So in camp, because I want to keep my cheap food at least relatively healthy
Sure.
and not processed. Like I think a good
Yeah.
solid burger with some like hand cut potatoes is perfect for a cheat meal. Especially like on a Sunday, your weight hit a new weight goal, and you're like, "Fuck yes, let's go." But outside of camp, Taco Bell.
Yeah, that's a
like-
good one. Ugh.
I
That's a
haven't had
great
Taco
one.
Bell in 6-7 years.
That was
Really,
like, because when you go by yourself, it's $70 because you show up to the and you're like, I'm gonna get that one thing, and I'm also gonna get that. Fuck, that looks good too. That I'm gonna get that one too. And you end up with like 7-8 things. You got like 8,000 calories. Like you said, you feel like hell afterwards, but it's all worth it. And you
it's
go back.
still
And
worth
get
it.
What's your playlist? What's your get pumped up playlist?
Fuck, I got shit from Dire Straits to the Migos to you gotta have some Dire Straits Money for Nothing on there.
Hell yeah, you do.
Dude, when like my last weight cut was a little rough. So I got a little bit of a late start. Like I didn't know I was fighting until the Ariel Helwani show. They were like, "Hey, you should watch the Ariel Helwani show." I was watching the Ariel Helwani show, and then he says I had a fight, and I was literally fucking like smoking a bong rip, and it was like I was like, "Fuck." But right before I would turn on that Dire Straits Money for Nothing, and just wait for the beat to drop. Once the guitar solo starts going, oh, we got that weight off. Good. Yeah.
See, I was alive when that video first came out. See, I watched it premiere on MTV. So
That's nice.
you
Hell
know,
yeah.
that's a little before your time, but I love that you're carrying on the tradition. That's
Oh,
good
yeah.
shit. Who'd you watch coming up?
McGregor. I was young. Like
Mhm.
I'm young. I'm 23. So 2016,
Mhm.
16 years old. We want to go have some fucking tacos and watch Conor McGregor knock Aldo out in 11 seconds. Let's go,
Hell
baby.
yeah.
And I said that to my cousin because he was like, "But the fights always take so fucking long." And I was like, "But listen, Conor McGregor's gonna knock him out quick, so at least the main event will be over quick." And sure as shit,
There
sure
was.
bop, and I was all like, "Let's go." But it was definitely Conor. I like Chris Weidman, John Jones,
Mhm.
the wrestlers. If there was a because that was before
Now, here's a question: Young John Jones or Champion John Jones?
all the John Jones blowing all. Fuck.
All right, so you lose your lighter and electricity goes out. What are you gonna do for fun? Like, what's your hobby there? You're a Montana kid, so I don't know if like hunting and fishing is in your repertoire. I don't know if
Okay. So that
yeah,
I thought you started it with you lose your lighter. I'm like,
well,
how the
because
fuck
if
am
I
gonna
said
light
okay,
my
so if I
bong?
said like what are your favorite hobbies? You just said smoking weed, bro. And I said, all right, after that, you're like video games, by smoking weed, bro. All right, pick one more thing. Video games, eating Taco Bell, smoking weed, bro. That's like that's what you're fucking said. So let's take all that shit out of the equation. No, but like for real, what does Kai get down on for fun? Like what
Definitely
relaxes
hunting and fishing, more fishing than hunting, because for example, the hunting season was literally the dates of my fight camp. My fight camp started on opening day. So I went out one time. I could have got something, but I wasn't too worried. My freezer's still full from last year. So I definitely love hunting. Fishing, I'm definitely a lot bigger into, only because it's very accessible to me. There's 3 rivers running through Great Falls. I grew up in a town called Loma, Montana. It's where Lewis and Clark Decision Point. So there's 3 rivers right there. So I got to learn those rivers. But now my coach has a boat, and he actually just ordered a Hughes craft and is going to be we're going to start hitting it hard here in the next couple of weeks. Even if during camp, I'll just drive out there myself, then I can drive home in time for practice, and we're gonna have some fun. But fishing's definitely my biggest. I love snowboarding. Anything Montana has to offer. We're an outdoor state. I love to do it. Don't do as much hiking as I would like to, just because I'm kind of in a shitty part of Montana where you have to drive an hour and a half to get to like the good juicy hikes.
Right.
So we definitely don't go as much as we want to, but camping, hunting, anything. If you think of something from Montana, I probably enjoy doing it. Cooking meat, which after this podcast, I do got to go cook some steak for my girl. But
there you go.
Yeah, but yeah, cooking meat. I just got my first grill, a cheap little fucking grill, and I love it. I love every second of it. I'm like grilling every night. It's great.
Steve, you wanted to ask him about like some fight stuff, and I see all kinds of pictures
here.
We're probably not going to get to everything,
but in about 3.5 minutes. Watch us.
That's right. Let's go. You're on the clock.
Obviously, last week's big thing was Francis Ngannou, and it did not end how he wanted it to.
It didn't end. Now, I don't think it ended the way a lot of people thought it was going to.
Because how Francis did against Tyson.
Yeah.
I think that my biggest takeaway was Anthony Joshua's reaction to it and what he said to Francis afterwards.
Yeah. So I actually don't know what he said afterwards.
He basically said, "Don't quit. If you're going to quit, come see me. I'll help you."
Okay. Yeah, I love that. So I'm impartial because Coach Dewey Cooper, Francis Ngannou's striking coach, I got to spend 7 weeks with him down in Vegas. And that kind of was the kickstart to my run to where I knew fighting was going to be my job. And he helped me discover that, So I really wanted him to win. I really wanted that to happen. But, I figured that just doesn't happen, because I wouldn't go to boxing right now. Now, if they pay me $20 million, I will fight anybody they want.
Right. I will fight anybody.
Yeah, actually, did you see that? Did you see the difference in the payouts? Francis' last fight, obviously, he turned down a lot of money so he could walk away. He only got paid $60,000 just for the Joshua fight. Not even what happened with Tyson Fury. $20 million.
So
listen, I'd have gotten knocked out too.
Yeah. And people talking shit about him is like, come on, man.
Name another MMA fighter at the top of their game, walk away and go to boxing. Name another one.
Like, do you care? Do you care if people are talking shit for $20 million? I got $20 million. Talk all the shit you want. I don't give a fuck.
Exactly. That's why I hope Francis has a good head on his shoulders through all this, because getting knocked out like that's tough. It's scary. How old is he? He's young in his career.
Yeah, he started older as far as learning it, but I think he's barely 30.
Yeah.
Well, at least he can say he did it. Like, that's the thing. Like, for me,
he also got paid. So in the end, he can do all these fucking things, but with $20 million, y'all never going to see me again.
Fuck. That's what I'm saying. Like, I'm really honestly surprised that Conor's coming back. How do you feel about Conor coming back? Like, that Conor's Conor's got more money than God, and he decides, you know what, I'm still going to come back. Like, that's pretty cool.
Please come back.
Yeah.
I want him to. He doesn't need to. If he does come back and does well, like he actually put a camp in and at least try, because Michael Chandler is a tough task for anybody. And so it's okay if he loses, but if he comes back and looks good and looks like he took it seriously, good for him. That's mental. That's fucking mental right there.
Go to the JP one, Steve, because the kid's young, and I want to know what the kid's got to say about JP.
So obviously they announced Mike Tyson, Jake Paul.
I love how Jake Paul is making his money, because in the end, all of us fighters want to make money. We don't want to end up like Sean Strickland's comment saying Roadhouse is the perfect depiction, UFC fighter turned bouncer. Like, I don't want that. None of us want that, but it's a reality. Fighters don't make enough money. So if you do make enough money, like, good on you for coming back. And even if you're doing silly,
but here's the thing: you're saying bravo, but look who his opponents are, man.
No, I agree. I think it's foolish. And whenever they announced that he was fighting Ben Askren, I thought it was fucking ridiculous. I do think it's ridiculous.
He was a wrestler. I'm like,
but he's just saying he's making his money. That's what he was like. Respect, because you're getting your checks. That's all he's saying.
He's building his name off of Amanda Serrano's back.
Look, we just
If anyone
said
tells
that
me
we
any
would
different,
fight
let's have
anybody.
a
We would get
conversation.
knocked out by anybody for $20 million. That's all Jake's doing. Jake's
Yeah.
just stepping in, or he's taking his $20 million a little bit at a time. Jake makes way to fuck more than $20 million between his YouTube and all
One
that
last
shit
one.
anyway. So
One last one I want to get your thoughts on, and you know, before we end this one, and it's actually on a somber note. I don't know if you heard what happened today, but Mark Coleman is a legitimate badass beforehand, but he went in last night. He was staying with his parents. House caught on fire. Goes in, saves both of them. Passes out from smoke inhalation, trying to save his dog. And anyone who's here watching the video can see he's not in good shape right now. He needs all our prayers. And that motherfucker's a hero. Point blank and period. He's the Godfather ground and pound. One of the baddest dudes that ever stepped foot in the cage, in the ring. Great wrestler, great ambassador of life. Man, it's gonna be rough for winning if he does wake up finding out that he didn't get his dog.
Yeah, so yeah, he's that's sad just because it can happen to anybody. No matter who you are, no matter what happens. I hope he comes through. Everybody needs to pray for that man because fight community is a strong fucking community. We got to get going. That way, we gotta surround that family with a lot of positive vibes.
we're gonna do the sponsorship silliness, which we love our sponsor, but we gotta throw in the little video. So we'll throw that in. We'll come back. We'll do Fox's 5 questions and the guest spotlight, and we'll let Kai go cook his steaks. We'll be right back.
Just Blazed Clothing Company. We are the premier clothing and lifestyle brand for the cannabis enthusiast. Premier clothing, cannabis accessories, with a South Beach flair. Go online today and check out all our great products at justblazedclothingcompany.com. Use the promo code FIGHT at checkout and get 10% off your purchase.
We are going to do what I call Fox's 5 questions. Basically, I'm going to throw 5 rando questions at you. I'm going to shoot them off the hip, and you're going to answer them as fast as you can, as honestly as you can, and that'll be about that. You ready?
My girlfriend took the weed, so no.
No.
But yeah, let's go. Let's just bang these out.
Awesome. Let's start with the weed. Joint, bong, or pipe?
Ooh, joint. Or a blunt. I will say, since it wasn't in the topic, I'm going a fat blunt. You gotta make them fat. Anyway, next question.
There you go. Disneyland or Disney World?
Never been, but I'm gonna assume Disney World, which is in Florida, because I liked Florida a lot more than I like California. So I'm probably gonna guess Disney World.
Too hot or too cold? Which would you rather be?
I cut so much weight that I've started to like the cold weather more. But Montana is a tough place to be in the cold, so I'm gonna say too hot.
Yeah, I'm the same way.
The other way, dude. It's easier to warm me up. Fuck that.
Would you rather drive a super nice car or would you have a super nice house?
Probably super nice house, because I would rather, because I have so many ideas if I just had the space. Holy fuck. A car, I wish I still had my 2001 Ford Explorer, baby. But yes. I traveled too much, so now I have a little bit nicer of a car. But yeah, I'd definitely say house over car.
Let's go steak or Taco Bell.
Probably steak. I'm going steak because you can cook it to your perfection. Montana grown. Shout out Central Avenue Meats in Great Falls, Montana. Montana sprout fed cows. So
nice. Steve's ingenious idea, and I mean that sincerely. We're going to give you the last few minutes of your own damn interview, man. We're going to let you close it out. You can talk about your sponsors. You can talk about your steak. You can talk about what you do when you go to bed at night. If I care, it's your interview. You're going to wrap it up.
For sure. Well, first things first, I'm going to start out with a little bit of an inspirational piece. I kind of said it before. If life or anything knocks you down, just stand up. Just stand up, okay? That's what I tell my 6-year-old wrestlers. Just stand up. It works. Get out there, achieve your dreams. Shout out Native Grown Dispensary out here in Montana, providing these awesome interviews because it makes me, we're smiling, we're having a good time, we're joking. So shout out Native Grown. Shout out Stadium Sports Bar, home of the official Kai Stewart watch party anytime I'm fighting outside of state. We have Turp House Farms. We are getting something nice and wound up for everybody, releasing in the next couple days. We got the Montana Open coming up, so if anybody's free, it'll be live on Track Wrestling. See me Tilly with all these guys, these big name wrestlers in the state of Montana. So it's actually kind of an honorable thing for me to be able to do this and have my name in the mix with these guys. So shout out the Humble Team Wrestling Club. My guys, we had 2 state champions and 2 6th places in our first year. We placed 80% of our team. So shout out them. So next year it's all up from here. Tune into my next fight. Bop, bop.
Just like that. Does the girlfriend do camera work? Do we let the girlfriend do camera work? Can we say hi to the girlfriend? Or does she not stand in front of the camera?
She would. She fights. She actually fights soon. So
no kidding. Where does she fight?
April 12th. She's fighting MMA. She is a Muay Thai fighter. So, dating a wrestler, she's getting a little better at wrestling. Maybe we'll see her first takedown in her fight. But she'll fight in Fusion Fight League April 12th. She's an absolute stud. What's
the name? What's the handle, brother?
Just at Dakota Rhodes.
We'll find it.
We're trying to get her nickname going. We're trying to find a new nickname.
It'll come. It just comes, right? The nicknames just come. Like you said, it just happens.
I was thinking Dakota Dusty Dirt Rhodes. I think that's fucking.
That's kind of Dusty. I like it. Apparently, she doesn't on it though.
No. Every time I mention it, and whenever she hears this, she probably heard me through the house, but she's gonna be like, "Are you serious?"
Maybe we'll get it to stick. Hey,
let one of her teammates come up with it. Don't try to enforce nothing on her.
Yeah, no,
I'm sure. So I'm not gonna repeat it because she probably kicked my ass. And
the coach that gave me Hefty Bag is thinking of a name, so we're about to find out.
It's about to go. I mean, she's got to have it before the fight, right? I mean, somehow. Yep. Hey, Kai, thank you so much. BKFC Featherweight Champion Kai Stewart joining us here on Wanna Fight. You know where to find Wanna Fight on that Sports Podcast Network. You can find his and all the other great fighters that come on that Steve goes out and books because Steve's a fucking badass and he gets all these badasses on. Kai, one more time, thanks again.
They're the badasses. I ain't nobody.
Thank you, guys. I look forward to doing another interview soon, sometime, anytime. You guys are fun. This is awesome. Just hit me up.
Appreciate it. For Kai, for Steven, I'm Chris Fox. We'll see you guys next time on Wanna Fight. Thanks, everybody.